Feed Your Family Tonight podcast. Each week, we are serving up motivation and inspiration to help you get weeknight dinner on the table, letting you recapture a little calm in the crazy. And now, your host, speaker, author, and married mother of four, Mariefiebach.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Feed Your Family Tonight podcast, episode 97. I'm your host, Mariefiebach. Today, we're going to talk about getting our fall game plan ready. It's all about getting your pantry and your freezer ready for fall and winter foods as we transition out of summer. But before I get deep into the episode, first of all, I want to give a big thank you to each of you who have taken the time to write a review in Apple Podcasts. I read every one. They mean the world to me. And we have 3 more episodes left before the 100th episode. And I'm hoping to get 20 new reviews on Apple Podcasts. So if you haven't taken a moment to do that, episode 95 walks you through exactly how to find that. So you can go back to episode 95. But I'm going to read a couple today that just made my heart smile. The first one is from Mom's Job Never Ends. First of all, how true is that? I love your name. That just is what life is really like. And it's titled Useful During COVID. There are so many meals and snacks with 3 kids at home constantly since last March. I found this podcast during these times and I appreciate the ideas and her pleasant voice, a bright spot during the day. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. The next one is from Jody Lee. Wonderful podcast. Marie has become one of my favorite podcasters. I really enjoy listening to her extremely useful tips and tricks, as well as our hilarious real-life stories. I learn something new in every episode and look forward to listening to her while I'm at work. Thank you so much, Marie. Jody Lee, thank you too. These reviews just help others find this podcast. And we have a lot of new friends here right now. And I'm so glad that you are here because this is all about helping life be a little bit better for your family, to help you recapture a little calm in the crazy. Don't you know we all have plenty of crazy? This weekend, I got the organize and tidy bug, which, to be honest with you, I don't get very often. I am many things, but an organized and tidy person probably isn't one of them. But I got the urge, and my husband and I, after 18 years, rearranged the furniture in our bedroom. I don't even want to tell you what it looked like when I pulled the headboard back. We have feather pillows, and it was like this pile of feathers and dust, and it was awful. But we vacuumed it, and we moved things around. And the reason I did that is for you. I live in a house with 4 bedrooms, and I have 4 kids, so my twins are already sharing a bedroom. There is just not space for a proper home office. And so I office out of our bedroom right now. I needed my space to work a little bit better for me so that I could start coming up with some new fun and exciting things for you. And at the end of this podcast, I'm going to tell you one of the new fun and exciting things that I have. So listen for that because I am really excited about it. But you're going to get a little snap of energy probably in the next few weeks too. In Kansas here, we got a cold snap, a very unusual September cold snap. Whenever you get that first little breath of fresh air where the heat kind of dissipates a little bit, you're going to get a little bit of energy to kind of start tidying. It's almost like nesting when you're about to have a baby, where you just get a little bit of energy and you want to get things all tidied up. Well, that happened this weekend to me. And in the next few weeks, it's probably going to happen to you. And I want to have you consider cleaning out your freezer and pantry when you get that little bit of energy. I know, pantry clean out, freezer clean out, not exactly the funnest thing to do for an hour on a Saturday afternoon, but if you choose to do it now, your future self will thank you. I always laugh at my kids and they will tease me when I say, future Marie is going to thank right now, Marie, because I'm doing something that I don't want to do, but will make my life better. And that's kind of what cleaning out your pantry and freezer is going to do for you. When you go to look at your pantry and freezer, what I want you to think about is, what are the kinds of foods I like to eat in the summer and our family likes to eat in the summer? And what are the kinds of foods that we'd like to eat in the fall and winter? Anytime the seasons change is a good time to kind of assess what you have, what you've liked for the past season, and where you're going in the next season. Because our bodies naturally want different kinds of foods in the different seasons as the different fresh vegetables are available and as the weather changes. I know for me, I kind of move from grilling to things that are done like in the Dutch oven and the slow cooker. The summer is all about fast and easy, quick, low heat meals. The winter is more about things that can take a little bit more time, but they're actually in a way easier because it's all done hands off. You have to work a little bit in the morning, but then dinner's ready when it's time to eat. Look at your freezer and see, what do I need to eat up that's the quote unquote summer foods? Because most of us don't like to be grilling in the middle of December. Now, I've been known to grill year round, and I'm sure some of you live in climates where grilling year round is not a problem, but you still kind of crave summer foods in the summer and wintry and fall foods in the fall and winter. It's almost pumpkin season, and we're going to have a whole talk about pumpkin when it comes to October because I can't get enough pumpkin. Pumpkin, love it or hate it, it's kind of a symbol of fall. What do you need to eat up so that you're not eating summer foods in the middle of December? And then what do you need to purchase to start getting a well-stocked freezer and pantry so that you're ready for the foods of the fall? One thing to think about when you're looking in your pantry is, are there foods that you purchased that maybe you tried once, but you bought several packages of them and you don't prefer them, your family doesn't prefer them, and every time you open your pantry, you see that box of soup or that seasoning packet and you think, ugh, I should use that up, but I don't really like it and I don't want to use that up. That food is taking brain space. It is making you think about it every time you see it, every time you open the pantry, every time you open the freezer and you see that food. It's causing you burden, and it's a little burden, but those little burdens add up and they kind of nag at us. So I'm going to encourage you, if you have bought some food that you do not prefer, if it's an unopened package and it's shelf stable, find a place to donate it or share it with a friend that you know that will like it. Don't burden them with it if you don't think they're going to like it. But if you have a friend that maybe even suggested the product to you, give it to them, share it with them so that it doesn't go to waste. And as a last resort, just toss it. Now, when I go through my freezer, one thing I'm going to be having to toss is a lot of odds and ends. I'll save a little bit of this or a little bit of that, thinking that I'll go back and eat it. And sometimes I do. And sometimes I don't. But about twice a year, it's a good time to go in and just kind of clean out the odds and ends. Find the packages that have little bits. I find that I'll have frozen veggies and I'll have 3 or 4 different little bags that have just a little bit left in them. And I'll just mix them all together and cook up the mixed veggies so that I can start with all fresh bags of mixed veggies for the season. Think about what you're going to use and then pull out your master meal planning sheet. Now, if you don't have a master meal planning sheet, it is free at feedyourfamilytonight.com/master, or there's a pop-up on the website that you can get that free master meal planning sheet. Now is the time to pull that out if you haven't pulled it out in a while, because when the seasons change, you are going to remember the 2 or 3 new meals that you tried on your family this summer that became big hits, and you're going to add those to your master meal planning sheet. And then you're going to start thinking and remembering all of the fun foods of the fall and the winter, and you'll look and you'll see them on your master meal planning sheet, or maybe you'll have to add them because you forgot to add them at the end of last season. But this is going to help you get more variety in your meals. It's going to help you focus on the foods that your family already likes. I've said before, and this is really important, is I don't recommend putting anything on the master meal planning sheet until you fed it to your family with success 3 times. Now, success is very relative. In my house, I'm feeding 6. So if 5 out of 6 will eat them and 4 out of 6 will give it a thumbs up, it's good. Your family may be different, but you have to gauge what success is in your family, but feed it to your family 3 times with success, because what I've seen happen so many times, and I bet you can relate, is the first time you feed it to your family, they all eat it and they think it's the greatest thing. And the second time, they kind of eat it and they kind of don't complain too much, but then you feed it to them a third time and they're like, we don't really like this. So make sure you fed it to your family 3 times with relative success before you put it on that master meal planning sheet. And that's going to help you plan your weekly meals. And as the seasons change, that is a great time. The master meal planning sheet is kind of a living document. And if you haven't pulled yours out recently and you pull it out, you'd be like, oh my goodness, we haven't made that in a while. You may be using it every week. And then you have a really good idea of what's happening with meals in your family, but pull it out or go get a copy of it. Kind of along the lines of using that master meal planning sheet, something my sister-in-law did last year, I found to be a really great idea. She actually took the Feed Your Family Tonight cookbook and she sat down with her 3 kids and went through recipe by recipe and said, are you guys willing to try this recipe or not? If 2 out of the 3 said they were willing to try it, then she put it on the list and she created a list of recipes that she was going to try throughout the season to see if she can find some new recipes to feed her kids. You could do this with the Feed Your Family Tonight cookbook. You could do it with the couple of the cookbook authors that I've had on the podcast recently. Stacy Billis with Winter Chicken Dinner. There's lots of really good family recipes. Or Thriving Home with Rachel and Polly. They have that cookbook that we talked about, From Freezer to Cooker. And that one's really good for fall because all of their recipes are made either in the Instant Pot or the slow cooker. And you can choose which appliance you're using. So if you don't have an Instant Pot, you can do it in your slow cooker, or you can see what your day's like and decide which appliance you're going to use. But you might take out a new cookbook and sit down with your family and say, okay, which recipes sound good do we want to try? And then my next tip for that is try them on a weekend, or if you're trying it on a weeknight, make sure it's a low pressure kind of weeknight. In our house, Thursday evenings tend to be a little bit lower pressure. Things are kind of settling down from the weekend. It's not as busy, so I might try a new recipe on a Thursday. But most of the time, new recipes I leave for the weekends because new recipes take a little bit of time and a little bit of brain space. And that sometimes you'll get going in a recipe and you'll realize that you forgot to do a step that took a little bit longer than you anticipated. Trying to do that on a busy weeknight is a lot of pressure that you don't need to put on yourself. But it's fun to try new recipes. And so go through some cookbooks and talk with your children and see what recipes they might like you to try. As we transition into a new season, it's a really fun time to kind of look at some of the new recipes for the fall and transitioning from the grill to the slow cooker and things that are cooked in the oven. It's kind of part of getting our fall game plan ready. One thing I have for you that is happening next week. So there's kind of a quick turnaround on this, but I am doing a live training that is totally free if you join the Feed Your Family Tonight Facebook group. The training will be on Facebook Live, and I will be talking about the Feed Your Family Tonight system for meal planning and grocery shopping. I'm going to go through all of the 3 steps of my meal planning system. You can download the master meal planning sheet, the weekly meal planning sheet, and my grocery list builder, which is a document I don't talk about very often, but it kind of goes through the major areas of the grocery store so you can kind of build your grocery list. It's a really good thing to use when you're stocking up your pantry, getting ready for a new season. I like to have kind of a well-stocked pantry, do like one big deep dive grocery shop at the beginning of the season, and then I fill in week by week. But to have everything kind of stocked up and ready to go with the basics. So for me this fall, I'll be stocking up on crushed tomatoes and pumpkin. I'll be getting some new pastas and some new grains and just making sure that I have a lot of the basic things around my house. And that grocery list builder will help you with that. So this live training is going to be on Friday, September 18th at 10 in the morning Central Time. I surveyed the Feed Your Family Tonight Facebook group, and weekday mornings got the most votes. And so that's when we're going to do it live. That part is totally free. But if you are interested in upgrading to a VIP pass, I'm going to continue after the live training to stay on live with the people that have the VIP pass. And we are going to start going through our master meal planning sheets. And we're going to start planning our weekly meals. We're going to get our grocery list and our staples list ready for the things that we need for the fall. And I'm going to be there to talk with you and answer all of your questions. You'll get to see me and I'll get to see your face because we're going to do it on Zoom via Zoom video call. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you are interested in that, the link will be in the show notes. It's also in the shop at feedyourfamilytonight.com, and you can sign up for the VIP pass. Otherwise, just join us live on Friday, September 18th at 10 a.m. Central Time, and you will be able to get the free training. I'll have some information up in the Facebook group so you can get those downloads ahead of time, get them printed off. So as we talk about them, you know exactly what we're talking about. But it's going to be a fun, get ready for the fall live meal planning training. So whenever you get that little burst of energy in the next few weeks, take a little bit of that energy to assess what's in your freezer, assess what's in your pantry, kind of make a list of the things you need to eat up before the seasons change, and then make a list of the things that you need to stock up to get ready for the new season so that you have your fall game plan ready. And try and pull out a cookbook or look at some blogs and get a list of a few new recipes that you want to try and start adding those in maybe one every other week so that you can try and get some new things too. I love fall and I'm so excited. And by doing this little bit of work up ahead, you're going to be ready with your fall game plan. So for now, friends, thanks so much for joining us on the Feed Your Family Tonight podcast. Again, if you could take a quick moment to go into Apple Podcasts and give a 5-star rating and write a quick review, it would mean the world to us. We're 3 episodes away from the 100th episode. I've got an exciting giveaway that I'm getting ready for you, so listen for that in the next couple of weeks. And join me next Friday, September 18th at 10 in the morning Central Time for our fall meal planning live training. And if you want to upgrade to that VIP pass, the link's here in the show notes, or go to feedyourfamilytonight.com/shop. I can't wait to meet some of you face to face. It's going to be a really great time. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Feed Your Family Tonight podcast with your host, Mariefiebach. If you like the show and want to know more, please visit feedyourfamilytonight.com. And if you'd like to help support the show, please leave a rating or review on iTunes or Apple Podcast. It helps spread the word that you can feed your family tonight.